What's up everyone? Pratima here. So today let me give you my top picks for the best budget speakers to buy right now. I found the best ones at literally every one of those price segments from 2,000 rupees to 3,000 rupees going up to 5,000 rupees. Actually, I have so many speakers that I need to go through, so let's get started right away. And you know what? I thought I wouldn't find any interesting ones under 2,000 rupees, but man, I was wrong. Take the Boat Stone 352 Pro for example. I have frequently seen this thing go on sale for just 1,400 rupees, and it definitely has a couple of features that you normally will not see on other similarly priced budget speakers. First of all, you get a built-in microphone here, which honestly works a lot better than I was expecting. And take a look at this. It even has an RGB light strip to add some mood to whatever you're listening to. Even though I should mention that it does not sync to the beat of whatever you're playing, like what we've seen on more expensive JBL speakers. Anyway, the Stone 352 Pro sound quality isn't half bad either. It mostly has a balanced sound with not a whole lot of bass, so if your playlist mostly includes pop, folk, jazz and acoustic songs, I think you will enjoy its sound perfectly fine. I'm also happy with its battery life since it lasts like 8 to 10 hours at moderate volume, but I will definitely suggest against listening to it at full volume because even things like vocals start to sound a bit sharp here. Okay, so the next speaker I want to talk about is the Petron Fusion Joy. And as a standalone speaker, this thing is pretty terrible. It sounds very thin with poor detail and clarity. The only reason I'm recommending this one on my list is because it's a karaoke speaker. So if you love singing along to your favorite songs, or if you frequently have a karaoke party with your friends, the Fusion Joy makes a lot of sense for just 1,600 rupees. Its microphone has a pretty good connection range, and I love how Petron has also added a couple of voice modes to make your karaoke parties even more fun. Like the baby mode that turns my voice super high, or the monster mode that does the exact opposite. Okay, so now moving on to some regular ones. If you want a no fuss, no nonsense budget speaker with a good sound quality, you still can't go wrong with the JBL Go 3. I know it's almost 5 years old at this point, and I actually bought one of these for my room a few years ago, but I absolutely love it. The Go 3 has a clean sound with good details and nice clarity that works pretty much on any and all genres of music. Its tiny speaker drivers housed inside a tiny case means that you shouldn't be expecting much in terms of that sub-bass rumble and also loudness, but I will not consider either of those things as a deal breaker. Anyway, my number one pick for the best budget speaker under 2,000 Indian rupees has to be the Portronic Sound Drum P. Its audio quality is simply unbeatable for the price. It has a very open sound and also the best bass response out of all of the other speakers that I have talked about so far. Its bass attack is still not as fast or as punchy as I'd like, but once again, this thing costs less than 2,000 rupees, so I know I can't be nitpicky like that. And when I listen to everything from hip-hop, rock, jazz and country songs, almost every single one of them sounded best on this Portronic speaker. And with a 20 watt of rated power, it gets plenty loud as well. It also has a decent battery life that can last almost like 5 to 6 hours at a time. It also has a wide range of connectivity options like an aux input, a USB drive and even a micro SD card. So no wonder this Portronic speaker has over 24,000 ratings on Amazon with an impressive 4.2 star average rating. Okay, now if you can stretch your budget to some 3,000 rupees, then you open yourself to a couple of interesting budget speakers, including ones that you should absolutely avoid, like the Boat Stone Arc that's currently on sale for like 2,300 rupees. It definitely looks pretty impressive with its funky customizable RGB lights and 20 watt of sound, but none of that matters because it sounds horrible. It has maybe the narrowest sound out of all of the speakers that I have tested. It's not that detailed, the mids sound bad, there is no thump in the bass, and surprisingly enough, it does not even get very loud. Instead, I would say the Tribit X Sound Go and the Stormbox Mini Plus are more deserving of your money. The X-Sound Go definitely looks more impressive on paper with its high power output and double the battery life, even though I would argue that the Stormbox Mini Plus is just as impressive. It also has RGB lights, and if you care about bass, its low-end response is noticeably better than the X-Sound Go. This cylindrical design also means that the Mini Plus sounds more open in comparison, while the X-Sound Go is more about the mids and the trebles. So depending upon what kind of music you listen to, you could go with either of these speakers. But what I love even more is that I can also connect them to the Tribit app and customize their sound from a bunch of built-in equalizers or create my own. Okay, so if you're looking for something more easy to carry, nothing beats the JBL Go 4. You can check my full review of it if you want all the details, but here's a quick summary. It gets louder, it sounds fuller and more detailed than the JBL Go 3. The JBL Go 4 also has a more energetic bass response. It also has longer battery life and even app support for things like customizing the sound and firmware updates. My only concern is that the JBL Go 4 is currently selling for 3,500 rupees right now, putting it just 500 rupees shy of JBL's own Clip 5, which is my pick for the best compact speaker under 5,000 rupees. And compared to the Go 4, this guy gets louder, has more bass, longer battery life, and also a carabiner, making it a great outdoor speaker. Okay, now before I go on about my other recommendations under 5,000 rupees, I think I've got to warn you about a couple of bad apples in this segment first, especially from some big name brands, because I'm sure most people will just tend to blindly select such products simply because they're tied to a popular manufacturer. Take Sony's XB100 for example. I know it looks cute, but for some 3,500 rupees, it does not really make any sense. Even if you just want something low profile, something tiny, I'd say that the JBL Go 4 or the JBL Clip 5 are much better speakers in every single dimension. And this one, the Soundcore Motion X100 from Anker, is perhaps the most disappointing one I have here. It's quite expensive and the audio quality is, well, not so worth of your money. I guess I can try and make it sound more open and detailed with the full band EQ from its app, but no matter how hard I try, I just can't get it to sound as good as some of the other speakers I have here, like this one, the Tribit Max Sound Plus. It's a couple of thousand rupees cheaper than the Soundcore speaker, and it has a slightly wider soundstage, and also it manages to reproduce vocals particularly nicely, while its bass attacks aren't too bad either. So if you mostly listen to hip-hop, rap, R&B and those kinds of songs, I doubt you are going to regret having this in your room. Even its battery life is some of the best I have gotten out of a budget speaker, although I have been noticing a few of its weaknesses as I put in more hours with the Max Sound Plus, like the trebles for instance. That's the one thing it struggles the most with. Plus, it also misses out on an app support for some reason, so no playing with the equalizer here. Okay, next up is Xiaomi's Sound Outdoor speaker, and this right here would be my answer to anyone who wants bass and nothing else. Its dark sound signature that prioritizes low frequencies above everything else is definitely not my cup of tea, but I know a ton of people who love this kind of sound. So if you're one of those, this Xiaomi speaker is definitely for you. With that said, you should know that such tuning can come off quite unnatural in most kinds of songs, especially with mid-frequencies like vocals, where the natural timbre of the singer's voice sounds a lot muddier here. I was listening to Porcupine Tree's Trains on this speaker, and man, the Xiaomi Sound Outdoor could not reproduce the guitar strums and vocals with the same amount of energy or clarity as they should. Which is why I am going with the Earphone U-Boom as my top pick for the best speaker under 5,000 rupees in India. I have seen it go for as little as 3,200 rupees during Amazon sales, and for that price, the U-Boom is simply untouchable. It's got such a nice harmonic balance between the lows and the mids and the highs that every note in the song feels so rich and so well reproduced. The U-boom also maintains good clarity and timbre thanks to its cylindrical design with 360-degree audio, making every type of song an absolute joy to listen to. Matter of fact, even after I was done testing all of these speakers, this is the one that I kept on my desk to get through my day at the office. It's that good, and unlike those Xiaomi and Fitbit speakers that I just talked about, this one has a microphone for hands-free calls as well. The only issue I have with this speaker is that once I set its volume to 80% or higher, there is this audible distortion in the sub-bass region in bass-heavy songs. And also that it tends to sound shoutier at high volumes, even though I would say that none of this is a deal breaker in any way, because I still find it perfectly loud enough at like 70% volume for a mid-sized room. And if you're planning on taking it outside, the U-boom even has a dedicated outdoor mode that makes it sound louder, but also thinner with weaker bass. So yeah. Alright everyone, so those were my top picks for the best budget speakers right now. I hope I've helped you decide on the one that's perfect for you. And if there are some good speakers that I missed, please feel free to mention them in the comments below so that it will be helpful for others as well. Till then, I'm Pratima and I will see you in my next video.